Greetings, love warriors. Greetings to all this evening. We are going to get into our conversation about gender wars. My name is Pangea Northstar, and I am an energy worker, an energy healer, a high yoga empath, um, an attraction coach, and I love to talk about love. That is my main topic. I love to teach about love, about attracting love energy, and that is the name of this segment that we do every Tuesday night. It's 6:30 p.m. Central, and which is 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Attracting love energy. Love energy is for healing, primarily for healing yourself, healing unresolved traumas. So, every week we're talking about attracting love energy from a different perspective. Attracting love energy always for the purposes of healing. So let's get into it. Tonight, our topic is gender wars is just an illusion. Gender wars is just an illusion. Gender wars is actually just a low vibrational frequency that is designed to keep you at odds with the opposite sex and thereby at odds with yourself because of your need, your desire for affection and attention, interaction with the opposite sex. And that's a mess. Gender wars is designed to keep you in inner turmoil, okay? Inward turmoil. Okay, so as we know, that is absolutely no good. It's not good for your evolution. It is not good for your healing journey to constantly feel at odds with your own self and with your own needs, right? But that is exactly what gender wars does. It keeps you feeling triggered. It keeps you feeling triggered. It keeps your mind so overrun with all of the things, all of the trending chatter. It keeps your mind so overwhelmed with all of that, that even if you had a great person sitting right in front of you, you would never even know it. You may not even be able to hear the wonderful person right in front of you if your mind is occupied with all of the trending chatter of gender wars. Imagine you're on a first date and you've met someone online. They look great, right? They seem great. They smell good, right? You're in a beautiful setting. But all day long, you've been listening to video after video, reading post after post of triggered men and women recounting their negative experiences in dating. What is that going to do for you on this date, right? When you hear this new person whom you've never met, but somehow attracted into your life, when you hear this new person say, "Hi, my name is, I like to this and that, I'm looking for this or that in a partner," everything they say is going to trigger something in your mind that you heard on a video. And the videos are always like, well, when she says this, it really means that. Or when he says this, it really means that. Right? As if the person that made that post knows everybody or has broken the code to communication between males and females. Right? Like, that's crazy. How can any generalization ever really be true? It doesn't make any sense at all that any one generalization would ever be true. That makes absolutely no sense. Why would we take the word of someone who's putting out something negative that helps people stay divided and works against people who are trying to find love in the world, right? That is a totally inharmonious frequency, right? Totally inharmonious, right? So we want to stop and think about this. Think about the things that you're allowing your mind to become filled up with. It doesn't make any sense at all that you would allow your mind to become filled up with all of this negativity if you are trying to meet someone and have more love in your life. It doesn't make any sense at all, right? So now we need to look at a couple of things here. And as I'm pulling up this information, I want you to go ahead, if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and turn on your notifications, right? But we want you to think about the fact that a loving union between a man and a woman represents yin and yang energies. Yin and yang energies. Yin and yang, if you are familiar with the yin and yang symbol, yin and yang energies are energies that mirror each other, but it is this symbol is reflected or expressed in positive and negative spaces. Positive and negative spaces that mirror each other, right? So what we're saying here is that what seems to be your opposite, maybe even seems to be your nemesis, could be the key to unlocking your evolution, right? It could be just the thing that you need, but it seems like the opposite, right? So we talk about attracting love energy from the standpoint of the laws of attraction. The laws of attraction. So with the laws of attraction state that we are always attracting matching frequencies. So we're attracting frequencies that match our vibration. Okay. So the people that we are meeting, especially when it comes to dating, because that is something that we engage in voluntarily. And that is something that people tend to feel really strong emotions about, is love, right? Romantic kind of love, right? So these people that we're attracting in the dating process hold a lesson for us. They hold a key for us to unlocking our own codes, to becoming a higher vibrating being, right? To engaging the journey of the unfoldment of our souls, right? So these people that we meet, the people that we attract, hold a lesson for us. They have something in their energetic field, which you may also hear called aura. The word we hear most commonly is your aura. The emotions that they hold in their aura, because emotions are what make up your vibrations, right? When you hear everybody talking about vibrating high or something's vibrating low, that's all we're really talking about is emotions, okay? I want to clear that up for anybody who may be confused about that. But their emotions, they're holding some emotions that match an emotion that we're holding. So if you find yourself, for instance, say you always attract people, you find yourself attracting people that lie, right? Say you're out here dating and it just seems to you that all men or all women, are just liars. Everybody that you attract to yourself is a liar. That is a clue to you that there's something that you're not being honest about, right? Something you're not being upfront about. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are a liar. Only you know, right? It doesn't mean that you're intentionally lying, But there could be something that you are masking about yourself. It could be that you are masking your intentions. You could be saying, well, it's not really important to me to have a relationship when it is actually important to you to have a relationship, right? Or you could be saying, I really want marriage when in fact you're not sure. Or you could be saying, I don't want marriage when you really do want marriage, right? Or you could even be trying really hard to be an appeasing person, right? You could be going along with things for the sake of keeping the peace. You could be going along with things that are really not okay with you. And when someone asks you, well, is this okay? What do you think? And you say, oh yeah, that's fine. And it's really not fine. It's really not fine. That is a form of misrepresenting who you are when you say you're okay with something that you're really not okay with, right? So being a people pleaser is a form of dishonesty, right? So think about that mirror that's being represented, right? So if you find yourself attracting liars and then you are watching all this nonsense online about gender wars and people are saying, men lie all the time or women lie all the time. And instead of looking at yourself, looking in the mirror, looking at analyzing what is this commonality I keep drawing to myself, this characteristic I keep drawing to myself in potential partners, instead of looking in the mirror, you're looking at social media and allowing yourself to become triggered by all these other people who are also failing to look in the mirror, failing to ask themselves the right questions, right? Think about it. So instead of looking in the mirror, you allow yourself to become triggered by all these things that you are hearing. All of these posts, all of these reels and memes and podcasts that are feeding negativity. And I'm not saying all of them do. Clearly, that's not true. But there are many, many that feed negativity. I'm really, I try my best to stay unplugged, but because I serve people with a certain set of needs, I do every now and then have to look and I hear, what's being said. And it's disturbing. It's really disturbing, things that are being said. I hear, what I notice is men and women are actually expressing the same thing. In a lot of cases, they're expressing the same thing. And I'm going to give you an example, okay? And this is also what makes me say gender wars is an illusion, okay? It's an illusion of division. I know you all have heard the term divide and conquer, okay? It's a saying, divide and conquer, right? So a way to keep any mass of people under control is to keep them divided, right? So think about that as we talk about this. But one of the examples I hear where men and women are actually expressing the same thing is this here. I'm going to tell you how women say this particular thing and how men express the same thing, okay? Women say, men, don't really love us. They don't really like us. They just want the benefits of us. These men out here, they don't really like women. They just want the benefits that come with women, right? If you've followed this gender war stuff for any period of time, you've heard that, right? Now, how do men express the same thing? Men say, I want someone who really wants me for me and not just what I can do for them. I want a woman that wants me for who I am and for myself and not just what I can do for her. Are these two sentiments not in fact the same sentiment? They are. They are. They're both saying, hey, I want to be seen, accepted, and loved for exactly who I am, for who I really am. And everyone wants that. It's normal and it is healthy, right? And I'm making a point to say it is normal and it is healthy, because another thing that this gender wars frequency is just a low vibrational frequency that comes from insecurity, that comes from a thought process of, a scarcity mindset, that there's not enough love out here, that there's not enough love out here for you. There's not enough acceptance out here. There's not enough authenticity, not enough integrity. Absolutely not true, right? But it is a low vibrational frequency born out of insecurity that causes us to feel, one of the phenomenon that is causing is for people to feel ashamed about wanting real love. People think, oh, I'm just being naive to think that someone's ever really gonna love me, or I'm just being, people, you hear this term sucker for love is really common, it has people feeling that they're just being naive and idealistic to think that they're ever really gonna find love. And that's crazy, right? It makes people think, oh, I'm just being weak, No, that's not real, guys. Okay? It is normal and it is natural. Everybody wants love. Now, to varying degrees, are people able to admit it? To varying degrees, are people able to attract it? To varying degrees, are people able to reciprocate love? But everybody wants love. Love is a driving force in the universe, right? Did you know that a newborn baby can die from not being held, from not experiencing love? Love is natural, love is normal. We all come here expecting, wanting, and needing love, okay? So if you're experiencing any shame or embarrassment about that, let me be the first to tell you that it's okay. There's no need to feel that way. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the chakra blockages that may be coming into play with this gender wars frequency. And if you guys have questions, comments, please share. If you have questions, I will answer a question that's related to the topic. Okay, absolutely no problem. So what we want to talk about is some of the energy blockages that are causing the gender wars frequency to spread like wildfire. It is a virus, a mental virus, an energetic virus. Okay. It is a program. Okay. Think of the Matrix, right? Think of the Matrix. Think Agent Smith, right? And Agent Smith would turn you into him, right? If Agent Smith touched you or reached inside of you, he would transform you into him. Think about the movie, right? That, and Agent Smith was a program. He was a program from the Matrix, right? So that is all that gender wars is. If you allow those negative messages to get inside of you, you are going to turn into a reflection of that. But in reality, you may not have had an experience that really is what they're talking about. But next thing you know, you're angry as if somebody, drugged you and stole your wallet on a date and took your wallet to the mall. Like, you're angry as if what someone else expressed happened to them happened to you. When really all they really did was touch on an emotion. They touched on a sore spot. What they said, they expressed a feeling that resonated with a feeling that you had, that is actually unresolved trauma. Just hanging out here in your aura, hanging out in your energetic field. And this is a real thing, guys. This is not a metaphor. This is a real thing. Scientists now have proven and can measure our energetic fields. Look up what is a human biomagnetic field. That's another term for it. Biomagnetic field, energetic field, aura is another name for it. Okay. So we hear all this talk about vibes and frequencies, and a lot of times we think, we're just kind of talking in metaphors. And no, this is real. This is real. Okay. So when someone comes within a certain closeness, a certain distance of you, you can feel them, even if your eyes are closed, even if they were tiptoeing and you couldn't hear anything, you could feel them when their biomagnetic field interacts with your biomagnetic field. Okay, for most people, it's from 4 to 6 feet out from your body in all directions. For most people, for some people it's less, for some people it's bigger. For people who meditate and things of that nature often and are very in tune with themselves, I'll say it that way, their biomagnetic field can be anywhere from 20 feet out. It's very rare, but it has been measured from my studies, according to my studies, it's been measured out as far as the length of a football field. Okay, now this will probably be someone that's some type of, guru or master or something, But at any rate, the biomagnetic field is a very real thing. So when you come in contact with someone else's emotions, this could be someone that's in the room with you and not saying anything, right? It could be someone not even saying anything because it's nonverbal. It is nonverbal, right? Someone can be emitting these frequencies, these emotions just coming off of them without saying a word, or you can come in contact with someone else's raw emotion. They're passing on their trauma, the effects or the feelings of their trauma through social media. So they're expressing something that mirrors or reminds you of something that you felt when their pain resonated with your pain. You're like, oh yeah, I feel that, and it seems like you have something in common with them, and it fosters this commonality with them, right? They feel familiar with you. They feel familiar to you. So it's very easy for you to begin to identify with all the people that are expressing all this bitterness, right? All this bitterness and grief. It's grief. A lot of it is grief. People who are feeling rejected. And if you are already feeling, whether it's consciously and you're aware of it, or it's in a tape running in your subconscious mind, if you have a fear of abandonment, fear of betrayal, all these types of loops on a tape in your mind, and your actions are motivated by that, when they start spewing this same negativity that resonates with your fears, then you begin to feel a part of that crowd. You fall into what they call hive mind, right? Or group think, right? So it's like, oh, well, this person is expressing this. Yeah, I experienced that. This person experienced this. Yep, I've experienced that, and she's expressing that. Yep, I've experienced that. I've felt lonely because of this, or I've, had this type of communication with a partner before. So next thing you know, they're all screaming, oh man, aren't SHIT, or all women are this and that, and all women like this and all women are like that. And when it's not true at all. It's not true. That's not true. Check yourself when you find yourself believing a generalization. Anytime someone says all men are this way, all women are that way, It's just like saying all people of color are like this, or all all, Caucasians are this way. All tall people are this way. All overweight people or skinny people, all short people. That can't be true. Now, come on. We got to use common sense. Don't allow your emotions to be triggered. Because if you do, what you're going to find begins to happen is that you're more identified emotionally. You're more able to connect with and identify with this group of people who are really hurt, you know, bitter, not over it, people who are in their pain, right? You're more able to identify with that group rather than the group of people that you're trying to connect with, that you want to connect with, right? So if you're a woman and you're allowing yourself to be triggered by all this negative stuff that women are saying, I dated this guy, he seemed so great in the beginning, come to find out he got 5 kids with 6 different baby mamas. Really? Like, you let yourself feed into that, you become more able to emotionally connect with someone like her rather than the type of man that you're actually trying to meet. And that works the same way. If you are a man seeking to meet a woman, but you're constantly watching all these videos, reading all these posts, listening to the podcasts that are feeding negativity and everything's, negative about women, but you desire to have a loving relationship with a woman, that doesn't go together. That doesn't fit. That doesn't work. You begin to only be able to emotionally bond with other hurt men. And before you know it, you're unable to emotionally bond with the women that you actually want a relationship with. I think that's called hustling backwards. That is what they call hustling backwards. It's working backwards. It's incongruent with the results that you really want. So you can create the emotional state that you want to be in. You are in charge of that. By controlling what you allow to come into your mind, what you hear, what you listen to, what you watch, the type of conversations you engage in, right? Even the foods that you eat. If you are eating live foods, you're eating fruits and vegetables, that affects your mental health. That contributes to mental health, a healthy state of mind. Whereas if you're always eating junk foods, or check this out, you're eating a lot of meat from animals that have been killed while they're in fear. If you're eating halal meat, good on you. If you're eating animals that were killed in a humane way, where they were not in fear at the time they died, good for you. If that's what your body likes and needs, go for it. But if you're eating the type of animals, the type of meat that is the general thing that you find in the grocery store, most of the animals that you can buy at the grocery store, the meat that you can buy at the grocery store, those animals died in fear. And their body was releasing fear toxins as they were being killed. So guess what's in that meat? Fear toxins. So what's in you when you eat these meats? Fear toxins, right? So when someone is online telling you, oh, well, you're going to get taken advantage of when you get out here and start dating, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, blah, 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 negative, playing on your fears, playing to your fears, speaking to your fears, feeding your fears. What is it that kicks up in your system? What is activated? Fear toxins. Okay? So let's talk about some of these fears. What does this look like in terms of chakras? So every week we talk about chakra blockages, energy blockages, okay? And when I talk about a chakra, I want to talk about what that chakra pertains to. And for those who are not already familiar with chakras, this is a great way to learn about it. There are 7 basic chakras, right? So we only deal with the basic chakras on here on this segment, okay? So a chakra is an energy center in our body, housed in our body, okay? Is a center of energy / a center of emotion. So anytime you hear me say energy, think emotion, okay? Because it's our emotions that generate energy, okay? So there are 7 centers of energy, 7 basic centers. There are over 100, well over 100 chakras in general, but we're talking about our 7 basic chakras. So the first of the 7 basic chakras or energy centers that I want to talk about related to gender wars is your root chakra. Okay, so our root chakra deals with one of the things that it deals with, because there's a lot of different ways you can talk about each chakra, but one of the things that it deals with is feelings of safety and security, okay, and our familial family love, right? So when we're talking about a root chakra blockage or a root chakra injury, as it pertains to gender wars, right? Gender wars, listening to all of that nonsense is going to trigger a root chakra injury that is about abandonment, not feeling safe, not feeling loved, feeling insecure in who you are, okay? Feelings of unworthiness, right? Which is not just housed in your root chakra. I won't, right at this moment, I'm not going to mention the other ones, but let's just say that the feelings of unworthiness is housed in more than one chakra, but this is one of them, okay? So shame is a big time emotion, very common emotion that represents a root chakra blockage, okay? So remember earlier, I mentioned that many people are now even ashamed of feeling like they want or need love, that they want or need companionship. And that is one of the results of gender wars, okay? And again, if y'all have comments, questions, please share. I will definitely answer questions. If y'all have questions, I will definitely answer, okay? But questions related to the topic. But so a root chakra injury, let me give you an example. Say you had a parent that abandoned you, okay? Or it could even be an older brother or sister that left and you felt abandoned, someone that you looked up to. It could be a grandparent. It could be the death of a loved one that left you feeling abandoned, right? If you have not dealt with that and has left you with a sense of, oh, I feel that anyone that I love or anyone that I'm close to could leave, that they're going to leave me at any moment. I have a fear that someone close to me is going to leave, right? Sitting around watching gender wars type material is going to kick up those fears. When you hear somebody saying, oh, well, I was married and this person, when I got sick, this person just left me. You hear stories like that, right? Or your parents' divorce could cause a root chakra injury. Very common, very common. Root chakra blockage due to the family splitting up. When the family splits up, that rocks your sense of safety. It changes how you look at the world. Your home, your family is your home. Your family is your base. Your family is your foundation. So it's very difficult to believe in love and believe that love can be long lasting and be true if you yourself had the first, your parents were your love icons, right? And you saw them split up. That can cause a root chakra blockage. And if that is something you've yet to deal with, you've not completely resolved for yourself, and you're watching this gender wars crap, I'm just going to call it what it is, it's going to re-enliven, it's going to feed new life, it's going to feed new energy to your root chakra blockage that's already there. If that makes sense, give me some hearts in the chat. If that makes sense, give me some hearts, okay? I want to check in and make sure this is resonating for you guys, all right? Again, if you have questions or comments, please add a question or comment, okay? Now, another type of chakra blockage that can be triggered by gender wars is a sacral chakra blockage. Your sacral chakra has to do with sensuality. It has to do with closeness and bonding with others, right? It has to do with bonding with people, enjoying intimate spaces with people, okay? Now, this, of course, deals with romantic relationships, but this can also have to do with friendships. You may begin even finding it difficult to be friends with the opposite sex. If you're watching gender wars type material, if you're following that trending chatter that all women are just gold diggers and all women are liars and all men are liars and all men are cheaters and all men are this, all men are that, right? How could you even be friends with the opposite sex? Think about it, right? How can you have a close friendship? How can you share that type of bond, even friendship love with someone, if you're constantly feeding your mind that poison, that toxicity? It's something to think about, right? This also this is where you would find turmoil here, and I would say between your root and your sacral is where you can also house that inner turmoil we talked about at the top of the conversation, that inner turmoil with yourself, where you're feeling conflicted about a need or desire for affection, attention, interaction with the opposite sex, okay? And I'm saying, and let me stop and say this real quick. I keep saying, I'm saying opposite sex because a lot of that is what gender wars is, a lot of it is pertaining to conversations about the opposite sex, but this really applies to everyone. It doesn't matter your orientation. If you have love relationships, romantic relationships with the same sex, this still has to do with you. You just may be identifying with you're going to be identifying with whatever group is against the group that you actually want to bond with, right? So if you're watching a bunch of gender war stuff and you are a woman that is attracted to women and has romantic relationships with women, you may find yourself over identifying with the men who are speaking negatively about women because they may be having some of the same experiences similar with women to some experiences you've had, right? But of course, they're putting the most negative spin on it, and saying all women are this way, okay? So just because I'm saying opposite sex, it doesn't mean that I'm excluding anyone else, okay? Now, when it comes to this sacral energy blockage, we're speaking of you being in turmoil, feeling shame, feeling that maybe, I'm just dreaming, I'm never really going to have love. I'm never really going to be able to bond with people in these, in love relationships, and find it difficult. You'll begin to find it difficult to trust, to be at ease around, to have relationships or friendships with that group of people that represent the same group of people that you want to have a relationship with. Okay, whether that's men or women. Okay, now self-worth, feeling unworthy, feeling not enough is an energy that is also housed in that chakra as well. As I mentioned earlier, self-worth, depending on the root of it, the cause of it, it can be in any of these three lower chakras that I'm mentioning. Okay, I'm about to go to the third one. All right, but if you had, for example, the first example I gave was abandonment of a parent, the loss of a parent or a member of your, the founding members of your family when you were very young. If that made you feel worthless, like, oh, I wasn't worthy of sticking around for, my mom or my dad left, or my mom or my dad, was not, playing the role a parent should play, and you internalize that, that would be a root chakra injury, right? Now, say you had a heartbreak young, such as your parents' divorce, or a first boyfriend or girlfriend, or say you were a young teen parent in the other, the parent, they're supposed to co-parent with you, they abandoned you, or something of that nature. A lot of different things can happen, or even just, young heartbreak, young regular teenage heartbreak, right? And a traumatic heartbreak that can cause a sacral chakra injury. Affects your ability to bond with people, affects your ability to believe that people can love you, or that you are worthy of receiving love, or that you will receive love, or that there's enough love in the world to be had, right? Some people, if you were, not particularly attractive as a young person, a lot of times it takes them a while to grow into their looks, right? And they never felt pretty, never felt handsome, you got teased a lot, sacral chakra injury. Okay, now we're going to go into another form of injury, solar plexus chakra injury, that also deals with unworthiness. Okay, so feeling that I'm not good enough, that makes you feel performative, makes you feel that you have to perform. You constantly have to perform. And this could be like, oh, I don't have enough money, right? I don't have enough money, or, women are not going to want me because I don't have enough money. Or this could also be the woman that's like, oh, well, I've got to, cook and clean and, agree all the time and stuff like that. It's being performative, feeling that you have to act a certain way to earn love. Okay? You have to be, a certain thing. You have to do certain things, I should say. You have to do certain things in order to earn love. Okay? That would be a solar plexus injury. Okay? So, these things, you guys, I'll go ahead and add a fourth one. I normally try to only do 2 or 3. If anybody, again, questions, comments, go ahead and please ask. But I'll go ahead and do a 4th one. Heartbreak, heart chakra, okay? Heart chakra. I'm not seeing any comments come up. I hope I'm not missing anybody. But a heart chakra injury, okay? Heartbreak, feeling that you have not received enough love in your life. You've not received enough attention, enough support. No one's invested in you, or feeling that you've given your love and your support and you've been invested in people and that has not been returned, right? Heart chakra injury, as well as all these other things that we've mentioned, they all pull on the heart as well. It's not like that pain just lives only in one center and just stays still. No, it hurts your heart when your parents break up. It hurts your heart when a parent leaves. You know, all of these things also affect your heart. Love energy is central. Love energy is key. Love energy is key to life. You know, I often say that every incident, every circumstance in life, good or bad, can be understood as or broken down to an incident where you either did or did not receive love. Right? It doesn't matter if it's neighborly love, friendly love, family love, romantic love, just good old human compassion type of love. Every incident can be broken down to an incident where you did or did not receive love. Okay, so all of these incidents can also be perceived as understood from the perspective of the heart chakra. Okay, so ways to clear and transmute this type of blockage. I don't want to use Tuesday nights to do visualizations and things of that nature to actually do them, but I do want to give you some tips. Meditating on different types of love. Meditating on different types of love. You could take a week of your life, and even if you did 5 minutes a day, it doesn't have to be a very long time, but you can create a shift for yourself. If you're not, accustomed to meditating, it's not something that you do often, you could just take 5 minutes if you're still learning to meditate, okay? And I also want to say, don't think that meditation always has to be you, completely quieting your mind and thinking nothing, because that is actually a skill. Stopping thoughts from happening is a skill, and it is not necessarily easy. It's something that takes practice. So when I'm saying meditation, I'm also speaking of visualization, right? You can think of or imagine a love experience of different kinds. If you took 1 week and for 5 minutes every day for 7 days, or you could do 5 days, Monday through Friday, visualize a different type of love. And I would advise you to start with each chakra. We talked about root chakra, for instance. You may picture a mother and a baby, or a father and a son, right? Your root chakra is located in the area of the genitalia, and it also does have to do with procreation. So you can visualize and meditate on that. Hot and heavy, but a couple that's in love. It's okay to allow yourself to visualize what making love with someone that you truly love and that really understands you, cares about you enough to protect you and to invest in you. What would that feeling be like? Give yourself 5 minutes to experience that in your mind. Visualize. If you were going to do a sacral chakra visualization on love, you could think of friendship love. You could do it like that. Or you could, let me go a little further with that. Friendship love, like a deep friendship bond. Spending time with a friend. What is the best friendship experience that you've had? You can either reflect on something wonderful that did happen or create that experience in your mind. What would it feel like to have a wonderful friend that's like a sister, that's like a brother? What type of things would we do together? And concentrate on the feeling of it. When you do these meditations, allow yourself to feel the feeling. That's important. That is important. Because in meditation, when we're using meditation and visualizations for manifestation, the thing that becomes a magnet that draws that to us is our emotion. It's our emotions that are drawing things to us, right? So you want to feel the feeling of this actual friendship. If you want to call friendship into your life, base these visualizations on things you actually want to draw into your life. Okay? Now, if you want to do a solar plexus visualization, you could do a visualization about, what would it feel like to be in love with someone who just accepts me just as I am without me having to perform. I don't have to take them shopping. I don't have to take them on a trip for them to love me. I don't have to cook and clean all the time for them to love me. I don't have to be agreeable every day. What would it feel like to have someone who loves me, even on a day when I don't feel attractive or that I don't feel happy, right? What would that feel like? To not have to be performative and feel like you have to perform to earn love. Allow yourself to picture that, picture yourself having that experience in your mind, and allow yourself to feel the emotions of it. Allow your body to become full of those emotions. You could do the same thing with heart chakra. With the heart chakra, the color that represents your heart chakra is green. Each chakra, for those who are new, has a color that goes with it. I encourage y'all to go and study these 7 basic chakras. But the color that represents the heart chakra is the color green. One of the things in real life that really is green that, expresses love for me is trees, plant life. We have an earth that was created by a creator, I believe. Anyway, someone put all this lush greenery here for us to enjoy. That is an act of love, to create a place that has all the things that people need before you even put the people there. That is an act of love, right? There's nothing that we have to do to make the earth do what it does. We just got to not destroy it, right? That's a prime example of love, right? So thinking about being in nature and how peaceful it would be to be in a forest, or to just how it would feel to live off the land, and allow yourself to feel that. How is that related to gender wars? Because it's still just a feeling of humanitarian love. It is an opposite thought of scarcity. It's an opposite thought of not enough, right? In truth, love is all around us. The trees, right, make it possible for us to breathe. Just by the trees doing their job, it makes it possible for us to breathe. We're breathing in love all the time. Yet things like gender wars create the illusion that there's not enough love on the planet. There's not enough here for you and me. That's totally untrue. Totally untrue. We're down to our last few minutes. If anybody has questions or comments. Okay. Now, you would have to, I'm not going to go through all the chakras, so we just don't have that kind of time today. But I gave you an idea for each chakra that I did mention, in which traumas, unresolved trauma sitting there can be triggered by you watching gender wars. What do you need to do differently other than just the meditation? And again, the purpose of the meditation is to allow yourself to emit a new vibration, so that you start to attract something different. Because the energy you put out, that is the energy that you're going to bring in. Okay? So if you have fear and concern that somebody's just here to use you and that's all you think about, you're going to draw people that are here to use you, and or you'll draw people who also have that same fear and that same concern that someone's here to use them. And many of them may just take the approach, well, I'll use you before you use me. So then you still end up getting used. So be mindful of the emotions you're holding in your energy field. Okay? Be mindful. Now, you also want to be sure to unplug from all of that crap. All that crap. Unfollow those pages that are always putting up negative stuff. Unfollow those people. Unfollow that crap. Stop looking at it. Stop liking it. And not just stop liking it, but I do mean stop looking at it. If you think those algorithms don't pay attention to what you let play all the way through, I play over and over again, even if you don't heart it, you're crazy. They absolutely, the algorithms absolutely do track and pay attention to that as well. To how long your eyes were on that. Okay? So, flip on past. You ain't missing nothing. They still talking about hate. You ain't gonna miss nothing. Find pages that are talking about love, loving subject matters, loving expressions, whether it's the love of a mother between a mother and a child, or a man and a woman, best friends, people and their pets. It doesn't matter what kind of love it is. You want to begin to take in love energy, identify with love energy, so that you begin to emit love energy. Okay? It's very, very important. If you want to see a shift in your life, see a shift in what you're attracting, you've got to create a shift in the energy that you're putting out. This is universal law. Okay? We're talking about the laws of attraction. Okay? And the laws of attraction state that we are always attracting. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're aware or not, or whether you're doing it intentionally or not. You are still attracting frequencies that match your frequency. Okay? So we're down to our last 2 minutes. If anybody has a quick question before we get out of here. Otherwise, I want to thank y'all for joining me. I also want to encourage you to look, to check out the new way to attract love. It's coming up June 29th. On right now we're putting it up on Eventbrite. It's called The New Way to Attract Love. Okay. And we're going to go deeper. The New Way to Attract Love is a class that I do that is 3 hours long. And we are just talking about, we're getting more specific, very, very specific, in teaching you how to attract love energy into your life using the laws of attraction. Okay? Very good class. Excellent class. We go deeper into the science of it because I really want to get us out of this idea that, these things are just woo-woo and that it's just, a figure of speech or a metaphor or just, an idea that may work. No, these principles, these laws are already at work in your life right now. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Because they're universal laws. Okay? So The New Way to Attract Love, June 29th. I'm also going to start adding the links to my videos that I do every Tuesday night so that you guys can come back here and get a link there. But also, if you're not already following me on Instagram, Pangea North Star on Instagram, Pangea North Star on Instagram. Follow me there as well. And I appreciate you guys hanging in with me. I can see that we have quite a few people in the room tonight, though y'all were not very talkative tonight. I appreciate y'all joining, and I really hope that you learned something. And I will see you all next week. Peace and love. Peace and love, guys. Good night.